Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. And today, I will be reading A Katsu Exterior by Squishy Dunya on Tumblr. So let's get into it. At first, you were nervous to meet Katsuki's parents. You loved your boyfriend. But if he was like this, what were his parents like? That question in itself made you way too nervous. Probably more than you needed to be, and you admitted that yourself. But it was only fair, right? His phone calls could often be heard through the hall doors, but he drowned them out, and he said there were nothing to worry about if he ever asked. Katsuki had tried his best to avoid bringing you home to meet his parents, but Mitsuki had seen the card he bought for you during Valentine's Day and had been bugging him about it ever since. And eventually, he got sick of it and folded, agreeing to bring you over for dinner after your school week had ended. Being the shy person that you were a little worried over the dinner. But you had tried your best to stay positive. Katsuki would warn you if he needed to, wouldn't he? He never really said anything bad about them, except for the couple insults you would hear from him. But knowing Katsuki, he insulted literally everyone. She didn't know if they were normal or if they were shitty. But you had hoped that the former was true. Thankfully and luckily for you, Katsuki was quick to reassure you that his parents were fine, and he had his hand on your leg the entire drive there, squeezing gently to calm your nerves. That was all you needed to end up outside the Katsuki residence, just a little bit calmer, with one hand clutching a bouquet, and the other hand holding onto your boyfriend's hands like a lifeline. Your shaky hand knocked on the door, and then it was swung open almost immediately, and you saw a flash of baby blue and blonde, and then your face was smushed into what was assumed to be Mitsuki. It's so nice to finally meet you, Ayan. Are these for us? She released you then, and held out the flowers reluctantly. This was not the person you were expecting. Not at all. Not from the loud voice in the phone, and not from how Katsuki talked about her. As soon as you walked into the house, she turned to Katsuki and yelled about bringing such a lovely person earlier. Now, that was what you were expecting from Mitsuki. Masaru, Katsuki's dad, was sitting on the table for the dinner you were about to have when you walked in. And just from the first glance at him, you could tell that he had a sort of different vibe. Since the man had not said a word since you walked in, which was different compared to Mitsuki and Katsuki over there, who were very talkative and very loud about it. And he didn't mind that. But it was nice to have some balance. He smiled at you, holding out the hand. Ah, you must be Oyan. Sorry I couldn't greet you. He had a warm smile, much like his wife, but it seemed a lot calmer and less excited. Masaru gave you a handshake and offered you some tea before suddenly being interrupted by the other two members of his family making an appearance. Mitsuki and Katsuki were yelling at one another about leaving shoes at the door, and you could not care less. You were focused on the hot tea that your boyfriend's dad had placed in front of you, which seemed very inviting and ready to drink right now. Everyone was sat at the table at this point, steaming cups of tea in your coasters to drink with your food. Mitsuki and Katsuki had been at it nonstop since the door closed behind you, and while you did not mind that, you almost felt bad for Mr. Masaru over there. He really did seem like the person who would join calm things more, but then again, he must have gotten used to it by now. And while to anyone else, it may seem like a toxic family dynamic, but you could still hear the genuine love and concern in their random yelling match. And it made you smile, knowing someone you cared about had a good support system. However, you had learned to drown out his yelling after being with him for so long. And right now, that that was exactly what you were doing. And it was what Masara was doing, you were sure. He turned to the camera of the two parents and pointed in the small ceramic cup in his hands. What blend is this? It tastes really good. He smiled warmly at you again and told you that this was when he had made it himself, and he was very glad and happy that you liked that. It reminded you of an old bookstore that Katsuki had taken you to during your first date. To feed your dumbass addiction, he had said to you, failing to hide his bright blush, and you described the bookstore to Masaru, and the older man seemed to light up slightly, and it turns out that was his favorite, and Katsuki had taken you there on his dad's recommendation after spending one too many nights talking about you. And while you and Masaru continued to talk ever so softly and quietly, and increasingly more passionately about the books that you liked, and how you liked reading in that bookstore and the siblings you sold, you did not even realize the other end of the table had grown silent. And from the looks of it, Masaru didn't even seem to notice. And none of you even noticed that the two of you were staring at you, their eyes filled with glimmers of admiration and love for their respective significant others. And that might just have been the sweetest thing, if you had seen it, that is. On Katsuki's part, he was so happy and glad that you got along with both his parents. It was all he had wanted, and he was relieved that everything went all right. And on Mitsuki's part, she was happy, feeling fortunate for having someone like you, and happy for Katsuki that you had chosen someone who would be the best fit for him. You reminded her of a younger version of her spouse, and that reassured her that you were just the one for her son. After all, he was just like her. Your boyfriend already knew that, though, that you were really perfect for him, and he was just happy that his parents thought so as well.
Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I hope you enjoyed listening to this as much as I did making it. Anyway, goodbye.